And sometimes, just sometimes, I'm sure you can relate that sometimes you feel like life would be so much easier if you didn't have to deal with other people, don't you? So with what I do, I fly quite a bit. And because I'm based in Salt Lake City, Utah, and Delta has a hub in Salt Lake City, Utah, I fly Delta exclusively. Well, because I fly with them so often, I get upgraded to first class virtually every time I fly. It's kind of a nice perk. Not too long ago, I was taking a flight from Salt Lake City to Oakland, California, a quick hour-and-a-half flight. And I was upgraded to first class. I was seated in seat 4B. I was probably the first one on the plane, and I sat down, and I pulled out my iPad, and I started doing some things. I wasn't paying attention as other passengers were coming on the plane. Well, all of a sudden, a man stopped next to me, and he said, "Get up, you're in my seat." And he said it just like that. He said, "Get up, you're in my seat." And I looked up, and I thought, wow. I said, "I'm sorry, what seat are you in?" And he said, "This is first class. Do you realize this is first class? You're in my seat." Don't you love people like that? And I said, "Yes, I realize this is first class. I'm also seated in first class. What seat are you in?" And then he asked me what I still believe is the dumbest question I've ever heard. He said, "Did you pay to sit in first class, or did you just get upgraded? Because I paid for my first class seat." And so I answered him. I said, "I got upgraded," which really stinks for you, because that means I paid a lot less money for the exact same seat. I said, "What seat are you in?" And he said, 4C. And I thought, you have got to be kidding me. 4C is right across the aisle. And without any hesitation, any apology, he just turned and sat down in his seat. And, you know, I don't usually get worked up with people, but this guy, he got me ticked. And so I looked across the aisle and I said, "You know what? You would suck at what I do." And he goes, "What?" And I said, I didn't stutter. I said, "You would suck at what I do." And he said, "Why is that?" And I said, "Because you're not good with people. You're horrible with people. Just be nice. It's not that hard." And he looked at me with a shocked look on his face like no one had ever told him that he was a jerk. Have you ever met people like the guy in 4C? I'm sure we all have. And just for a moment, I want you to picture in your mind, put down whatever you're holding, picture in your mind the face of someone that you just don't get along with. Somebody who, I don't know, they get under your skin, they just bug you. And get a clear picture in your mind. Does everybody have a clear picture in your mind? Just out of curiosity, how many of you are sitting next to that person right now?